Hello again, everybody. I'm Scott Casper. This is Tony Hager. Welcome back. This is another episode of Global Wrestling News. Well, the World Championships are right around the corner, and the U.S. has a combination of young and veteran talent. Here to break down Team USA is the hardest working man in all of wrestling, Mr. Gary Abbott.
Welcome. This is Gary Abbott at USA Wrestling, getting ready to go to Paris for the World Wrestling Championships. Should be a great competition. A couple things you need to know. One, you can watch it live. It'll be streamed on Track Wrestling, the entire tournament, August 21 through 26. Two, you can see it on an NBC network. It'll be on NBC Sportsnet or NBCSN. And there'll be a number of different airing times for the World Wrestling Championship. So if you can't make it to Paris with us, watch it on video. It's going to be well covered. Let's start with Team United States. We're going to have a strong team. There are going to be 3 Olympic champions on it. Kyle Snyder and Helen Maroulis, who won in 2016, and then the 2012 Olympic champ Jordan Burroughs. We also have a bronze medalist from the Rio Olympics, Jaden Cox, world champion in Logan Stieber, world silver medalist in Allie Reagan, and a world bronze medalist in James Green. Very, very talented group. There's going to be 10 athletes who've never been in a senior world or Olympic competition, where you'd think that's a very young, inexperienced team, but all 24 athletes for the United States have been to a world championship at an age group level or the senior level, and 21 of them have won a world medal. So we're talking a good, young, talented group. All 3 styles. We'll start with Greco the first 2 days, Monday, Tuesday. Then we go to women on Wednesday and Thursday, and we finish up with men's freestyle Friday and Saturday in Paris, France. You're going to want to watch Helen Maroulis, the American Olympic and World Champion. She's up 2 weight classes, but she's favored to win her weight class. Some of the other athletes to watch for, Japan's lightweight Yui Sasaki. She's going to be at 48 kilo, facing Victoria Anthony of the United States, who has a shot to win her first senior medal. 60 kilograms, Risako Kawai of Japan, an Olympic gold medalist, moves up a weight. She's going to run into some tough people. Hopefully Allison Reagan, or we call her Allie Reagan, world silver medalist, will have a chance to try to win that weight. In Greco-Roman, there's a lot of returning stars. Ben Provisor, who's a 2-time Olympian at 85 kilo. Robbie Smith from the Rio team. And Ildar Hafizov at 59 kilograms. He's a former Olympian for Uzbekistan, and he's here now in the United States, American citizen, wrestling in his first world tournament. It's going to be a great competition. Hopefully these names are people you'll enjoy watching, and check it out. And we think Team USA is ready to go. Thank you.
Not pumped up yet? Well, check out this World Championship teaser as we head to break. You're watching GWN thanks to Adidas Wrestling. Stay tuned.
This month at Casey's General Stores, try out our limited time only Philly cheesesteak pizza. And don't forget about our monthly pizza special. 2 large single topping pizzas for just $20. Casey's, famous for pizza.
I'm Don Beneveni, Beneveni Chevrolet in Granger. We recently made the switch to LED lighting. We purchased it from Yellow Blue. We've had a very good experience. The lighting has saved us approximately $1,000 a month. I made the switch to Yellow Blue LED lighting, and you should too.
Big news for the U.S. Women's World Team. Two-time Olympic champ and four-time world champion John Smith will be joined by two-time world medalist Carrie Colette. They're going to coach the team for the first time in Paris next week. USA Wrestling's Gary Abbott caught up with the coaches to get their thoughts on the opportunity in our U.S. Women's World Team.
Some of the women were telling me that having you working with them, positively being in their corner, giving them encouragement, sharing some of your experience with them is helping them on their confidence. Do you feel good that they're feeling an impact from your involvement and the time you've been able to spend with them so far?
Well, you hope you can do that. And of course, a lot of things I'm saying is just repeating what Coach Steiner says to them. A new face sometimes changes it up. And I'll just say they've responded well. They're eager to learn. They love to work. I saw a lot of them tired this week and pushed through their workouts. So a lot of things that you just enjoy seeing as a coach. And for me this week, it's been a lot of fun. And I look forward to doing it in the future.
So you remember the days back when Trish Saunders wrestled and women's wrestling just got started. As a coach and as a wrestling person, how do you feel the progress has been in the sport? And obviously we've seen the growth in the numbers, but I mean, you were back competing at the time when it was brand new. And just kind of your perspective, having spent some more time around this year's group.
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing about the women that you do notice, they got to grind a little harder for the attention. And I think for that reason, they're pretty tough. Nothing's really came easy for them. Men's freestyle, men's Greco's been here forever, and we found out we had to fight several years back to stay in the Olympics.
Right.
And when you got to fight for something, it makes you tough. And our women coaches all across the United States, and of course Terry Steiner here, just listening to him and reminding his team what they need to do, how they need to be, reminding them that we're out there, we're expanding, what we need to do as young ladies and the appearance that we want to put forward. Sounds really good. It just reminds me that women are fighting for their sport right now, and I tell you, it's definitely a sport that's on the rise.
What are you seeing when you watch our athletes these days on the women's side? Because you'll be working with potential Olympic champions, and world champions with the women's senior group.
Yeah, you're right. Huge gains from when I was competing. It was brand new. Tricia Saunders was the one who was getting out there and getting in front of it for more girls to get into the sport. And now watching them in the room, I mean, the depth we have now is impressive. The skill level we have is impressive. I mean, they're as good as anybody out there, And I was watching a few of them today. Vicky, I mean, she can move. I mean, she's explosive. She can move, and all the girls. I mean, they're technical and they train. I mean, they train hard, just as hard as any of the guys.
And technique is something that you're really good at, not only competing when you did it, but coaching. It's been something you've taken a lot of pride in developing since you finished your competitive career in the coaching side.
Yeah.
Do you feel you've got some technical things that can be a little bit of an edge for these girls as they try to beat the Russians and the Japanese and all those tough girls we're going to see this summer?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not going to reach every girl that I'm here. Terry and Clarissa do a great job. They're plugging me in where they think I can be the most effective, and so I'll handle a little bit of the workout. It's mainly on those guys, but I'm going to reach a couple girls with some of the things that I do. John Smith's coming in; he's going to reach some girls with some of the things he does. and everybody will take bits and pieces. I mean, that was my entire career, was stealing from Dave Schultz and Kevin Jackson and John Smith, taking pieces of them. So, that's the plan. Terry and Clarissa put me where I need to be, and so we'll plug along.
Is this the first time a decorated freestyle coach has served on a women's staff?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure how many years this goes back or who exactly has been on what staff, to be honest with you. I'm sure there's been people that have come over, but, there's no shortage of the experience of these two coaches, two of the most iconic figures that we have in American freestyle history. So, heck, these guys are Hall of Famers, so cannot say no to these type of guys. Like Coach Smith said, sometimes a fresh look, fresh face, fresh motivation, you really can step away from the sport, people that have been motivating you. This is something that I think these women are willing to fight for when they see these coaches showing the passion that they have for freestyle, college wrestling over to them. Will give them a new, fresh look and give them more motivation to go out there and perform for these coaches.
Yeah, and with Kerry Colat and John Smith, it's been these two guys have been on the big stage before around the world. Nothing seems to bother them. It's confidence that they exude and confidence that they have in bucketfuls are going to be able to extend to the women. All right, great things ahead for women's wrestling. We'll talk to veteran Haley Agello. That's after this short timeout. You're watching Global Wrestling News, courtesy of Nike Wrestling.
This month at Casey's General Stores, try out our limited time only Philly cheesesteak pizza. And don't forget about our monthly pizza special. 2 large single topping pizzas for just $20. Casey's, famous for pizza.
Wow, 40 years. Time really flies. Don't seem like it's been that long. It seemed like only yesterday that I started out route delivering it to the stores. For over 40 years, we're really proud to keep the same quality ingredients and not change our recipe. Help us celebrate our 40th anniversary by joining into our cookies recipe contest with a chance to win a Traeger Bronson 20 smoker. You can enter it on our Facebook page or cookiesbbq.com. Thanks for 40 years, and we'll see you in another 40 years.
Cookies is the one.
What's up, guys? I want to tell you about a new product that I am extremely excited about. It is the Pure and Clean Sports Skin Defense. It comes in a 16-ounce spray bottle, and it comes in a little bitty travel size spray bottles. I have one of these, throw it in my bag, go straight to the gym. A lot of these gyms I train at, whether it be boxing, wrestling, kickboxing, grappling, strength and conditioning, it all has bacteria floating around. They all have viruses floating around. They all have fungus floating around. And the last thing you want is to get a fungus, a virus, get sick, any kind of wounds that are going to turn into any kind of skin infections to take you off of the mat. Every single second that you spend off the mat or out of the gym is 1 second that you're wasting. So Pure and Clean Sports came up with an amazing solution to give you the right amount of protection on your skin. You spray it right on your skin. Stay pure, stay clean. Checking them out, pureandcleansports.com.
Olympian Haley Agello is back on the world team, but now is moving up a weight class from 48 to 53. Here's Haley on the weight jump and what she's learned from the Rio Olympics.
Here at the U.S. Olympic Training Center with Haley Agello, getting through the last day of training before our senior women's world team heads off to Europe. We're going to be in France for a little training and then in Paris for the Worlds. How's training been going for you, Haley? It's been a long summer, I'm sure.
Yeah, training's been going really well. We've had a few camps scattered throughout the summer. We were able to travel over to Russia and have a camp out there, which was really helpful and really beneficial to the team. And just culturally and wrestling-wise, it was a great experience. And just having camps here at the Olympic Training Center, it's nice to always bring us all together and get out here and compete and battle with each other and build ourselves up and build each other up for the World Championship.
Now, last year you were able to compete in the Olympics. Well, obviously a major experience for you and a learning opportunity to get better. This year you're at the World's, new weight class. Talk a little bit about the challenge ahead of you and maybe how it might be a little different than last summer in Rio.
Yeah, this is my first world team, so it's exciting and it's new. So I'm really excited about that, to be on my first world team. And the Olympics was awesome and a great experience, but my mind's focused on the here and now, and that's Paris. And I'm up a weight class, so the difference is I'm scouting, maybe a few different people than I would have last summer. But the nice part is that a lot of the countries, they have similar styles. So the girls I scouted from countries for 48 have similar styles to the girls I'm scouting from the same country at 53. So maybe the biggest difference and the hardest jump is going to be the weight and the size and the strength. But I was a big 48, and I'm a pretty decent size 53, so I think I'm pretty strong, and I don't really worry about the strength or the size. I'm just worried about myself and worried about getting myself ready, and I think that if I do that and focus on that, it'll all fall into place.
Now, obviously, you've had a year to get better, right? How do you feel that, hey, this year's version of Haley Augello is going to have some more to bring to the mat than last year when, you were representing us at the Olympics?
I worked really hard last year, and that's something that I definitely transferred over to this summer. I've been working really hard on just the basics. I think a lot of times we think we need to learn all these new moves and, change up our whole style to be the best, but really I'm just really focusing on the basics and getting my solid wrestling down, and I think that'll take me a long way.
So this year it's interesting. Our women's team, John Smith, Carrie Colat, I've been helping you out. Just curious, as one of the athletes and working with those legends in wrestling that are now putting their time and effort into you.
It's so awesome. I think it's a huge confidence boost when you're going through practice and maybe you don't think it was the best practice, but then you have John Smith or Carrie Colat come up to you and be like, wow, you're a really hard worker. And that just raises your confidence so much, because if this guy who's gone out there and won 2 gold medals at the Olympics is telling me that I looked like I was working really hard in a practice that I felt like maybe I wasn't looking the best, it really boosts my confidence. And for him to want to work with me and sacrifice his time to want to help me and the rest of the girls, I'm just really honored about that. And it's such a humbling experience to have these 2 men in our corner, and I think they are really growing onto the women's wrestling team, I think, or we're growing onto them. I think they're liking the difference. We poke fun at them, we make fun of them a little bit, we bring them out of their shell a little, and I think that's something we've done with Terry over the years.
Yeah.
And I think working with women, sometimes, we have that little magic of bringing people out of their shell. So I think it's a good thing for them, and I think it's a really great thing for us. So it's been fun, and it's really awesome to get to know people that have accomplished the things that we strive to accomplish.
All right, Tony, this is back to the weight class she was comfortable with for a number of years. She made her first world team at this weight, and I like her at this class.
This will be a tough weight class for her. Madsen and Shininsen are both in the field. They picked up bronze medals in Rio, so it's going to be a tough field no matter what weight class she goes to. So this one, though, like you said, where she's comfortable, she's had success there before, so I think this will be a better fit for her.
And you can't forget Vanessa from Belarus, world champ at 48 just a few years back, and has moved up and been very dominating. Medals in 5 straight international events.
Yeah, like I said, this is a pretty loaded field. No one is a huge favorite, though. It's just really loaded up and down. Madsen is the highest ranked wrestler. Russia, Greece are all bringing strong women into this field. So Augello will need a very strong, a good draw here. But her experience on the American team and being overseas will do her well here. She needs to be on a good side, and I think she could possibly pick up a medal if she's where she needs to be.
All right, stay tuned. Quick Hits is next. You're watching GWN thanks to Fairway Food Stores.
The war raged for generations. No amount of bravery and conviction could end the infected, unyielding rage. And with every battle, the evil grew, changed, evolved. The warriors needed nothing short of a miracle to stop the infection, and a miracle they received. Your body is at war against skin infections and diseases each time you step onto the mat. Protect yourself against the invasion. Defense Soap. Defend what you have built.
Jack Wagner has announced his decision to transfer from Iowa to UNI. The three-time state champ finished 17-7, competing in 5 open tournaments as a redshirt freshman. Wagner said, "I'm thankful for my time at Iowa, but it came down to not being the right fit, or me not being the right fit for them." Wagner will likely wrestle for Coach Schwab at 133, while two-time national qualifier Josh Alber will probably jump up a weight to 141. Wagner has been granted a full release by the University of Iowa and will have full complete years of eligibility. Tony, what's the storyline here? Could the kid have stayed? Could he have been a starter at Iowa?
Well, I mean, like he said, he didn't really know if it was not the right fit for him or he wasn't the right fit for them. So I think this all comes down to comfort level. I mean, Jay Schwarm, former teammate in Bettendorf, he's there at 25. So going there, having a solid training partner for him. And plus, Cedar Falls is a completely different atmosphere than Iowa City. So
You think?
I'm guessing, maybe you'll be able to refocus, go to maybe a smaller community and really get back to what he's good at, and that's wrestling.
All right, so the question for me is, and it remains for everybody, I'm sure, who starts for Iowa at 33?
This is a question mark. They lost Mejia and then Wagner now. I think Justin Stickley is a guy that, he gray shirt. He'll be in the mix at 25, but, he told us a while ago that he plans to go 133, so he's bulking up for there. Max Murin, two-time Pennsylvania State champ, too. He's talking about cutting down to 133, so I think at the end of the day, it's going to be someone very young at 133, but somebody that will, I think, open some eyes and surprise a few people.
All right, news out of Lincoln. 4-time NCAA qualifier Tim Lambert has been hired as a volunteer assistant. Lambert was a 4-year starter for the Huskers at 125 and compiled a career record of 106 and 44. He'll work primarily with the lower weights, as you might guess, while continuing to train and compete internationally.
Lambert, this is a guy that Nebraska really needed. They needed to have a lower weight guy. They got James Green, Jordan Burroughs, Maple. I mean, a slew of coaches in those middle weights. He's kind of like the middle tier guy, like a Tyler Graff, somebody that doesn't have all of the goods, I guess, to be a world team member, but somebody that's just continuing to grind. So Tim Lambert's got a long ways to go to get to that level, like Thomas Gilman. But having him around that Nebraska community, I think it'll be very important.
And I think it's going to be a great fit. All right, let's go to California. Fresno State has released its schedule for the coming season. In addition to a loaded in-conference schedule, the Bulldogs will take on Big Ten powers Illinois and Minnesota. Fresno State fans will get their first taste of action at the Bulldogs intra-squad event November 4th. Tony, what's your overall outlook on Troy Steiner and company after 11 years off the mat, the Bulldogs?
I mean, how much really time should you give a coach, right? So, you're basically starting a brand new company. Mm-hmm. That's the way I look at it. You got infrastructure's got to be there. You got to get kids, build up the program. So I look at this kind of like how Zeke Jones, he came to Arizona State, it's got to give him time. I don't think you can expect them to be knocking off Big Ten people for a while, but there's not a lot of competition for recruits out there. So I'd say 3-4 years and they'll start, getting some All-Americans. But to compete at that level, they got some work to do.
I like Coach Steiner and his staff, and I like the kids he's brought in for the first class. I know that it was today they met for the first time, and it's all very exciting. Let's head to Michigan. Well, they might have one of the most difficult schedules in the country, 13 duels against 8 top 15 teams, including Penn State, Ohio State, and Iowa. Michigan is on the rise, Tony, but we're going to find out pretty fast if the Wolverines are for real.
Yeah, there's lots of buzz up in Michigan, and seeing this schedule, holy cow, it is loaded with duels. They're only going to be at the MSU Open and the Cliff Keen Invite early in the season, so January's packed full of duels. And it kind of worries me a little bit because you like to get those kids acclimated to 2-day weigh-ins, and they're not going to have that from December. They're going to be their first tournament, clear up to the Big Ten Championship. So they got heavy duels, and that's going to prepare them for tough matches. But that 2-day weigh-in is really big. So be interesting to see how that works out, and as far as a game plan and strategy for more coaches in the future, how they perform at the Big Tens.
All right, don't forget, you're going to be able to watch the World Championships all on TrackWrestling.com, our buddies over there. We're out of time for this week, Tony, so I want to thank everybody for watching live from our studios in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm Scott Casper, and we'll see you next week for Global Wrestling News.